Do you think Social Security's 2026 COLA will finally give retirees the relief they've been waiting for, or will it just keep pace with rising prices without really improving lives? That's the big question on everyone's mind right now. In today's update, we're going to look at why the 2026 COLA projection keeps moving upward, what the latest numbers are showing, and what it really means for seniors living on fixed incomes. The truth is, the cost of living adjustment was never designed to make anyone rich, but it's one of the most important lifelines for tens of millions of retirees. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel COLA is doing enough to keep you above water, or do you think it always falls short of reality? Drop your answer in the comments because your perspective is valuable and helps others in our community. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Social Security Post, where we keep you updated on the news that directly impacts your benefits. The cost of living adjustment, better known as COLA, is meant to protect Social Security recipients against the steady erosion of purchasing power caused by inflation. Every year, the government calculates an adjustment based on inflation data, and that percentage is added to Social Security checks. The goal isn't to provide a bonus or extra cash, but to make sure your benefits keep up with the rising cost of food, rent, gas, and healthcare. Without COLA, retirees would fall further and further behind every year as prices rise. But here's the reality many don't like to hear. Even with COLA, most retirees are still stretched thin. That's because Social Security was only designed to replace a modest portion of pre-retirement wages, about 40% for the average worker. That means most people need savings, pensions, or part-time work to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. COLA helps keep you from falling too far back, but it's rarely enough to make life easier. So, what can retirees expect in 2026 compared to 2025? The numbers suggest that next year's COLA will be slightly more generous than this year's 2.5% adjustment. While a higher percentage sounds positive, it's important to understand that this doesn't necessarily mean seniors will feel wealthier. A 2.7% raise on a $1,800 monthly check is only about $48 more per month. Not exactly life-changing when rent or medical bills can go up by far more than that. That's why financial experts continue to emphasize the importance of having other sources of income in retirement. If you have an IRA, 401k, or even a small pension, you're in a much stronger position to weather the ups and downs of inflation. For those relying almost entirely on Social Security, even a slightly better COLA in 2026 won't be enough to ease the pressure. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think these increases are keeping up with your real costs, or do you feel left behind? Each year, the Social Security Administration announces the official COLA in October. But this isn't a random decision. It's based on a specific formula tied to inflation. The government uses the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, or CPIW, for the months of July, August, and September. Once those 3 months of data are finalized, the percentage increase is locked in, and that becomes your COLA for the following year. This means the official announcement won't happen until October 2025, but retirees don't have to sit in the dark until then. Groups like the Senior Citizens League follow inflation data month by month and issue projections. While not official, these projections have historically given a reliable preview of what's coming. That's why so many seniors watch these updates closely. They provide an early sense of how much relief, if any, might be on the way. The Senior Citizens League has been tracking the numbers closely, and what's interesting is that their projections have steadily moved higher throughout the year. Back in March, the group estimated a 2.2% COLA for 2026. By April, they raised it to 2.3%. May's projection ticked up to 2.4%, then 2.5% in June, 2.6% in July, and now 2.7% in August. That's 6 months in a row of upward adjustments, reflecting how persistent inflation has been in the U.S. economy. This steady climb is both good and bad news. On one hand, it means retirees will likely see a slightly bigger raise than initially expected. On the other hand, it also means prices are rising fast enough that each new projection has to be higher than the last. In other words, you're not actually gaining purchasing power. You're just keeping pace with the higher cost of living. If the current trend holds, retirees could see a COLA of around 2.7% in 2026, which would be slightly better than the 2.5% they received in 2025. On paper, that's a win, but when you break it down to dollars and cents, it may not feel like much. For someone receiving $2,000 a month, a 2.7% increase amounts to just $54 more each month. That could help cover a few extra bags of groceries, but it won't offset soaring healthcare premiums or rent hikes in many parts of the country. This is why many retirees express frustration with COLA. It sounds like a raise, but it doesn't feel like one in practice. I'd love to hear from you. Would an extra $40 to $60 a month in 2026 make a real difference for you, or does it feel like just a drop in the bucket? Share your experience in the comments, because it's important for others to hear what these numbers mean in real life. It's important to keep expectations realistic when it comes to Social Security COLAs. They were never designed to improve retirees' lifestyles, only to prevent benefits from losing too much value due to inflation. That means if you're struggling now, a higher COLA next year won't suddenly make life easier. Instead, it will just slow down how quickly your purchasing power erodes. That's why experts encourage retirees to take a close look at their budgets. Maybe there are expenses that can be trimmed, or ways to bring in a little extra income through part-time work. Some seniors even consider relocating to areas where their Social Security checks stretch further, states with lower taxes or towns with lower rent. None of these are easy decisions, but they can make a big difference when COLA alone isn't enough. If you're not retired yet, this is your wake-up call. Don't rely too heavily on Social Security or its yearly COLAs. The program was never meant to provide a full retirement income. Instead, it's a safety net that works best when combined with personal savings. If you're working, consider contributing to a 401k plan, an IRA, or another retirement account. The more you can save now, the less you'll have to worry about COLA percentages down the road. Think of it this way. If COLA comes in at 2.7% or even 3%, that might add $40 or $50 to a check. But if you've built up your own nest egg, you'll have much more flexibility and security. By planning ahead, you won't feel trapped waiting each year to see what the government decides. So here's where we stand today. The 2026 Social Security COLA projection has risen steadily all year, moving from 2.2% in March to 2.7% in August. If this pattern continues, retirees may see a modest boost next year compared to 2025. But remember, COLA is there to protect against inflation, not to improve your lifestyle. For many, it will feel like just enough to tread water. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe COLA should be larger to reflect the real cost seniors face, or do you think the system is working the way it should? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your input helps shape this community. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like it and subscribe to Social Security Post for more updates that directly impact your benefits.